Hey YouTube, it's me again. I am here with another video. I figured I have a little extra time right now, so I might as well do a few back-to-back on some small stuff that I really haven't seen too much talked about in the way that I use it. And this video is going to be about selenite. So for those of you who don't know what selenite is, it's a mineral. Some people call it a crystal, I call it a mineral. That is dissolvable in water. So it kind of almost looks like a type of quartz or like tiger's eye type of like texture to it, but it's white. Sometimes translucent depending on how pure your selenite is, but it's always got kind of a frosted finish to it. In this bottle here, I actually take selenite and I ground it up and popped it in a bottle. So I have some ground selenite on hand. Much like my last video where I talk about the black water for cleansing, you can also do a cleansing water or oil with selenite. And because selenite does dissolve eventually completely in water, you can actually sprinkle a little bit. This is something I do if I don't necessarily want to use salt. I will sprinkle a little bit of like selenite into my waters that I'm using or making to just enhance them further and give the properties of the selenite. Where selenite, for me at least, I know everyone's gonna have their own opinion as to like what you can use selenite for or what they think it should be used for. For me personally, it's a very cleansing, protective stone or mineral, so that's kind of what I use it for. I've also seen people use it as just like an energy conduit, so to kind of just help ramp up energies and just to kind of purify the area. So that's essentially what I do. So I highly recommend that if you can get your hands on enough selenite. In my very first video on here, where I showed my collection, I kind of showed that huge chunk of selenite. I get stuff like that. Um, they're relatively inexpensive, I think, for the most part, for it being as big as it is. Um, from my local metaphysical supply store. And I took chunks of it off and I ground it up. Essentially, is what this is in a mortar and pestle. So it takes a little bit of time, but once you get it down, it creates a fine powder. It's almost got the texture of like a really stiff cornstarch. So yeah, I figured I'd just kind of share that. I did make sure that when I put it into the bottle that I went ahead and enchanted it or, filled it with my intention, however you want to say it, um, that it was for specifically cleansing. So this entire bottle is only going to be used in cleansing and protective works or any type of spell or magic or potion, whatever it is that I'm doing like that. So, it depends on how you kind of enchant it as well and use what intention you're using it for. It is a mineral. It is technically a stone, so it will go ahead and hold that charge per se, just like a quartz crystal would. So you can really, really keep that for a long time. And every couple full moons or so, I will go ahead and like reset it almost, just like I do with most of my crystals, just to make sure that the energy is kept pure. One thing you can do as well is if you don't want to have to every month do that, which is something that I'm actually going to do once I can get my hands on a small enough crystal, take a piece of selenite and put selenite at the bottom of the jar first. Selenite is a cleansing stone, so it actually recycles the energy. It'll pull it in, cleanse it, send it back out, and reset it for you. Um, Little witchy tidbit there, in case you weren't aware of that. I keep a lot of selenite with my tarot decks, just because I don't always like to have to sage them and reconsecrate them every time that I use it. So I like to keep selenite in there to kind of almost do it for me. And then when I feel like they need the extra charge or they kind of have a build up that the selenite can't take care of, that's when I go ahead and do the full ritual cleansing. Um, so I just wanted to kind of give you a little witchy tip about selenite. Definitely I recommend getting your hands on some. It's something that you can just kind of keep on hand. Not something I use too often because I have my, my sage and stuff. But when I do need something that I can use as a powder or mix into a liquid that will dissolve, I definitely recommend selenite. Blessed be witches. I'll talk to you soon.